There are SaaS companies right now with better products, better teams, and better systems than their competitors, and they're still losing deals before the demo even happened. Not because their product is weak, but because the market does not give them credit for it. Buyers are forming trust before they ever land on the site. These decisions are happening whether you like it or not. They see you showing up in AI search, Reddit, Google, and if it's your company not showing up in these places, you're not even in the considerations there. And the worst thing? The deals you're losing, you never even see them happen because they never enter your CRM. Here's the structural problem. Almost all SaaS SEO strategies are based on the wrong thing. Domain rating, organic traffic, the number of links built each month. But that by themselves, these metrics are useless. Sure, they're real metrics, but they're not revenue, they're not leads, they're not new pipeline. And when the entire program is optimized around these vanity metrics, well, you're losing out on the deals. It produces traffic that looks fine on a dashboard, but does nothing to the bottom line of revenue. So the real cost isn't traffic, wasted traffic, it's pipeline that never enters your business. Let me explain what I mean by that. A buyer enters your product into ChatGPT. They're looking for information about who you are and what you do. But something happens. Your competitor comes up. You don't know, but that buyer goes straight to your competitor. They're blown away by the competitor and you were never even considered. They never fill out a demo form. They never show up in your CRM as a lost deal. They just never enter the pipeline. And this is even more true for enterprise customers. These people are not deciding whether to make a deal based on cold email or LinkedIn. Search is the main channel where they're making these decisions. We ran a study just a few weeks ago. We looked at 150 SaaS companies and 120 different high intent buying keywords. And what we found, 44% of these brands are invisible in ChatGPT for the buying intent keywords. So if you're a SaaS company with decent rankings and you assume that Google visibility translates directly to ChatGPT, I am sorry, but you are mistaken. The data says otherwise, and there is an entire other level of buying decisions being made via the LLMs. That's what I want to unpack today. 3 structural problems, 3 ways to fix it. Let's get into it. There's also a third layer to this, something that only has become apparent in the last 1 year, the last 12 months. Not only does this make the old approach ineffective, in fact, it makes it actively risky, and I mean that to your marketing budget, but I'll come back to that. The first place invisible pipeline loss happens is at the keyword level. It's simply that your entire SaaS SEO strategy is pointed at the wrong audience to begin with. Look, high volume keywords feel good on a pitch deck. When someone types in project management tools and it shows a search volume of 50,000 visitors a month, wow, that sounds amazing, right? And you think that we need to appear here, but that is not the case. It's about the search intent. Someone typing this keyword in is most likely a student looking for a paper to cite for their essay, or someone, with no real interest in buying what you sell. This is not the keyword that a VP of operations is typing in when they're evaluating vendors. They know what a project management tool is. Of course they do. It's obvious. You're not trying to attract these low intent buyers. You are trying to market to who your real audience is. Meanwhile, there are companies right now searching for exactly what you sell, but they cannot find you, but they find your competitors who are more established, with bigger brands, with bigger teams, with, better products. Of course, these products are not necessarily better. It just means they're established. They are on feature-specific queries, lead management software, or what email finder integrates with HubSpot. This is where your integration pages can show. This is where your authority shines through. This is where you can influence the buying decision. And if you don't have these pages, or if these pages are invisible, then they belong to the competitor. This is demand flowing right beneath your eyes to someone else. There's no alert in the CRM, no lost deal notification, simply the pipeline never grows because these enterprise customers are deciding and you are not in the conversation. Let me give you a real example. We worked with a sales tech SaaS, small team, 2 co-founders, great product, great minds behind the product, but they were competing with giants, Apollo, Cognism, companies like this, of this ilk. And as you are watching this, you probably know these names in your industry too. Every single one of these companies in your space at this enterprise level, at this high mid-market level, have been investing in content and links for at least 5 years, probably 10. And they have built a moat of authority that makes it very impossible to catch up with them. Or does it? When this sales tech company came to us, they just had 1,000 organic monthly visitors. And after some months and over 150 backlinks, authority signals from websites like HubSpot and BigCommerce, and in relevant articles related to sales tech from other CRM companies, from other SaaS products, wow, 17,000 organic monthly visitors. And this is before they started programmatic SEO. The thing is, their on-page SEO was solid. We just had to take advantage of that, building authority in the right places and making the changes that actually mattered. The authority and how visible they were for buying intent queries. The commercial pages around LinkedIn lead exports and email finders were buried beneath tons of competitors. But we need a way to surface this. This is the information that needs to be seen. And now AI has entered the picture. This is even more of a big deal because people's searching habits are changing. We reorientated everything around bottom of the funnel intent, middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel, where consideration is happening and where decision making is happening. In just over a year, we built them 150 odd links, and not a single one was a random placement. Everything was tactical, everything was strategy led, everything related back to sales tech, SaaS, and B2B email finding. Every single one of these categories was commercially and topically relevant. And what does this do is it sends a ton of signals that this company is an authority in this space and deserves to rank and deserves to be cited in the LLMs. A 1,600% increase in traffic and growing, traffic value of almost $200,000 a year, and a valuation of $1.5 million ARR for a brand new startup bootstrap SaaS. Of course, I'm not saying that link building is the reason and the only reason for this, but of course it's a factor. This authority is massive. Not only did we build rankings, we bought territory. We bought appearances in the exact semantic context their buyers were searching for when they were evaluating them as a vendor and their competitors. And it's not because we gained anything. We built authority, we built a system, and we built authority for over a year. Here's a quick check you can do today. Pull your top 20 ranking pages and ask yourself, would my buyer search for these queries? Am I targeting the right audience? It's not just about SEO and search engine optimization. It's about the experience of the user. And are you serving that user intent correctly? If everything that is ranking is a listicle, then you need to create your own listicle. If everything is a practitioner how-to guide, then fit in, write your practitioner how-to guide, inject a brand voice that no one's ever seen before. You can do this by using your brain and just downloading your thoughts and actually speaking your truth about your product. And of course, now everything is easier with Claude, everything is easier with OpenAI, Gemini, but these systems are enablers for your brain, and this brain needs to be shared. So ask yourself, do you have a content problem, an authority problem, or a positioning and target problem? And my guess is it's a mixture of all three. You need all three to succeed. Good links need good content to support, and good content is what can convert. But that good content relies on solid messaging, principles of business that are so key. So fixing targeting is step one. But even when you do that, there's still the competition. And this competition, they're not going away. And they're still building authority month after month and a month. And the gap, you think, is getting only bigger. So where does that leave you? The terms that actually matter. And the answer is not what you think. Before I get into why bigger competitors outrank you, if you're already seeing this in your data, strong traffic, strong rankings, but missing from AI visibility, then you can book a strategy call with us. This is the exact diagnostic that we run at Emgi before you start a campaign. And at worst, you walk away with a tailored plan you can use for yourself. We look at your keyword mix, your link profile, how often you're showing up in AI search, which queries you're showing up for in AI search. The call takes 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how in-depth you go and how many questions you have. The link is in the description below if you want to book this call with me. When SEO is not working, the instinct is always more. Produce more blogs, more content. But when companies do that, here is what I've actually seen. Almost zero movement on the commercial keywords and queries that actually matter. Because the problem isn't the content, it's the authority. Look, Google doesn't reward volume. Of course, you need a significant level of blogs and content and topical authority on your website, goes without saying. But most companies actually already have that. Of course, there's still the problem that if the content sucks, you need to do something about it. And these content updates should be done, and you should really do a deep research into how you can improve your content, how you can serve the user intent. But it's not the only problem. Google's algorithm has always been based on link building. It has always been based on citations and how other brands interact with you and how you are seen as a perceived authority. That is why link building has been around for years and years and years, and you have a lot of annoying people trying to sell you links in your DMs. Not because they just want to annoy you, but because people actually buy them, because it works. But it's not just about the volume of links, it's whether the endorsements come from the right place. You need to look beyond DR and traffic and look at real topical relevancy and semantic fit. Problem is, most link building, including some agencies, treat this as purely a volume game and sell links purely based on DR and traffic. And DR by itself is a horrible metric in a lot of ways. Of course, it can give a good sort of indicator of the backing quality, but it can easily be gamed. Organic traffic is a little better, but organic traffic can also be gamed, because you want to see what queries and keywords a company is actually ranking for. If they are just ranking for spammy keywords related to MP4 downloads and celebrity net worth, do you really think a backlink from that website is so impressive? On the other hand, if you're a sales tech company and they rank for keywords related to CRM, sales tech, Apollo, then of course this is a much more topically relevant fit. A link from a random marketing blog is not the same as a marketing blog written by an expert that a VP of marketing actually reads. One is noise, and the other is a trust signal that compounds. Think about it from a buyer's perspective. Before they've ever visited your website, they've likely started to form an impression about you from the first things they have heard about you. They've read your articles, your case studies, they see where you're mentioned in the industry, they know if you're a big name or not, they've seen your YouTube channel, hopefully. They notice which brands repeatedly show up in credible places. And that doesn't always mean the product is better, it means the marketing is better. But unfortunately, marketing is what makes people buy your product. It's not that you're necessarily better, it's that you feel safer. Loss aversion is absolutely huge in marketing and sales. And if you are seen as a credible choice, one that brings buy-in from the team, one that doesn't feel like you're at risk of getting fired, then you're going to make the safer decision. And that is human nature. And I would never blame someone for making a safe decision. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. So we work with a small HR SaaS firm. Leave management, employee records, self-service portals, that kind of thing. They have a good product, a really good product. But the problem is, the people they compete with in the SERBs are the biggest names in the HR tech space. Valuations of 5 billion, 10 billion, 15 billion. These are not companies you can simply out SEO or outspend. Each of these companies has a marketing budget that dwarfs the client's entire revenue. SEO teams of 10 to 50 people just in SEO. They should have no chance, right? And on paper they don't. We've been working with them for 25 months now. We've built over 325 backlinks for them. 325 backlinks and authority signals that actually move the needle. Average domain rating over 65, but that number isn't the key. It's cool, sounds good, but it's not the key. It's where the links come from. Major industry HR publications like HR.com, employment law sites, enterprise SaaS. It's thinking outside the box. Where do we want this client to get featured? Not generic marketing blogs, not the guest post farms you can buy on any marketplace, but real earned links that come from relationships that are hard to get. And remember, the harder it is to get a link, often the better it is. Publications where a VP of people or head of HR are actually reading and making a decision, we are going to use this vendor. And it's not just about the link, it's about the publicity, the PR, the brand implications of being featured positively over and over again, 325 times and counting. Today, I'm very proud to say this client ranks #1 in Google and visibly across all of the big AI search terms for 3 of its main service pages, 3 of its main product pages, bottom of the funnel pages that are going to actually convert into demos and sales. This is proof of the pudding of SEO working for SaaS. A 4x increase in 2 years of organic traffic value, from just $5,000 a month of perceived traffic value to over $20,000 a month. And when you factor in how much PPC advertisers would pay for these clicks, it is a lot more than $20,000 a month. We just built authority in the places that actually matters for the buyer. And that is the single most important outcome of an entire campaign. Demos, revenue, pipeline. Because of where these publications sit, because of the links that we built, because of the established credibility, something else started happening. And this isn't the part of SEO most people are talking about. The AI shift search. The goal isn't just to rank on Google anymore. It is to be the answer that AI gives. And this shift is happening way faster than most SaaS companies were prepared for. Their marketing teams were unprepared. 6 months ago, 12 months ago, this section of the video probably wouldn't have even existed. And now AI search is rapidly increasing, and AI search is becoming the main point of search for many people, and especially people in these white label jobs who are making these buying decisions. And that's what we need to think about, because when we look at the overall statistic of who's using AI, that's factoring in people like my grandma, your grandma, people who are not going to use AI search. But when we think logically about millennials, Generation Z, boomer generation, like more and more people are using AI modes of search, right? And this increase is happening very, very fast. Right now, SaaS buyers are doing their research in ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Anthropic, Claude, everything, right? They're typing in the best HR software management tools into these AI systems, into the LLMs. And that is because it is answer first optimization. They are getting an answer, not a list of blue links which requires them to do real work. They are getting a predetermined answer, but it is a predetermined answer that can be influenced and gained. You need to be on the right side of that game because your competitors sure are trying to be. The answer might name 2 brands, 3 brands, 4 brands, but it's going to name people. In most cases, it's going to name you or your competitor. And if it's not you, then it's going to be your competitor. You're invisible to a layer of buyer research that barely existed 18 months ago. Just sit and think about that now. How significant is this? In June 2025, AI referral visits hit over 1 billion. 1.13 billion, I believe the stat was. Up 357% year on year. And when a similar research report drops in June 2026, June 2027, what do you think that pattern is going to be? Are you seeing less people in day-to-day life using AI? Or are you seeing Claude being the talk of the entire internet? Are you seeing everyone you know in your life resort to using AI as their main mode of search? People want answers and AI is willing to oblige. But our research found that Google organic traffic by itself is a very weak correlation of how well you appear in AI. But what we found was a strong correlation, brand authority at the category level. The correlation there, 76%. Pretty strong, right? Pretty strong. That means the brands getting cited in the AI responses are not just the brands with the most traffic. They are the brands with the most specific, credible authority in their specific subcategory and their specific sub-niche. We looked at 120 brands in our data study, more or less 60 dominant brands and 60 challengers. Think of it as like the enterprise versus the mid-market. And we found that 100% of the dominant brands appeared in AI for some of the important bottom of the funnel queries, showing that this years and years of authority can't just be taken away. So if you're an enterprise brand listening right now, of course it's still relevant, but you've got an advantage. But what we found with the challenger brands, only 22% got mentioned at all. 78% of challenger brands we surveyed are invisible to AI. They are losing clicks, they are losing to the competitors, and their unique differentiators are not being able to be perceived by the wider market. Simply because you are invisible. Very few people are going to go and do this additional research about you, are really going to go to the next level. Most people want an easy answer. I think we're all guilty of it sometimes. Definitely for me, I like to have the easy answer, the most straightforward answer to my question, the solution. The solution, and that can be just given to you. And remember that HR SaaS client I mentioned? 300 plus backlinks? Well, that wasn't just a Google play. They're now showing up in AI for these queries too. Google AI overviews, ChatGPT responses, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, they are everywhere for these important keywords and these buying decision prompts. That happened because 300 backlinks give editorial credibility. It's not just 300 backlinks, it's 300 backlinks with context, with brand mentions, with topical authority mapping, with an internal linking system on their own website that passes this authority across the pages. The editorial placements teach the AI model to respect this brand. And we didn't run a separate AI play at the time, but that is the result of the editorial link building we did for this client paying off right now in 2026. It is a very similar ranking signal that Google uses for ranking pages that AI models use to determine which brands it respects and which brands it wants to show for specific queries. It goes with consensus and it goes with easy answers. And that is why it is shown that the 100% of dominant brands are getting cited in AI because they are seen as a safe and credible choice. The engineers behind these AI LLMs, they don't want their responses to be misleading, and they go with the safe answer for that reason. So building the brand moat, the credibility, and being considered the safe answer is what you need. Here's why timing matters. The brands building this system right now, in 12 months, the gap will be very significant, and it will be very difficult to catch them. AI models learn about who an authority is in a category, in a topical map, in a semantic contextual relationship. Once you are in, you compound. Every mention reinforces who you are, what you do, and the customers you serve. Once you are behind, you are trying to change the mind of a system that has already decided its answer. And that gap widens every single month where you don't take action. So to bring it back to where we started, the deals that you're not seeing, the buyers who researched your category in ChatGPT, the ones who read the publications in your space, they have formed an opinion about who the authorities are before they ever learn your brand name. They won't show up on your site. They won't enter a lost deals report in your CRM. They simply will never show up. You'll never hear about them. You'll never know they were making a buying decision. They'll never evaluate you as a vendor. That is the invisible loss. And this is happening right now. It happens at the keyword level when you're targeting the wrong audience. It happens at the authority level when the market doesn't give you credit for the amazing product you are building or you have built, and it is accelerating at the AI level right now as I speak. An entirely new level of buyer trust is happening and you don't even realize it. The companies that are fixing all three of these problems right now are the ones driving pipeline, not just organic traffic. Hey, if this resonates, subscribe. This is what I cover. This is who I am. This is specifically for SaaS marketing teams, B2B marketing teams, the teams who want to drive organic pipeline, the teams that want to grow their business, the teams that want to drive reports to their CEO that are going to blow them away. Hey, and if you want me to run this strategy, AI Visibility Audit for you, looking at your keyword mix, your link profile, currently how visible you are in AI, where your buying decisions are happening, and what we can do to help, there's a link in the description. I'll just ask you for 15-30 minutes of your time. You have to be qualified to get it. You'll have to answer some questions. But if you are, you can go ahead, submit the details, and I'm gonna build you a really awesome report, and you're gonna love it. It's gonna change how you think about marketing. Honestly, it's gonna give you a lot of ideas that you've not really thought about. Yeah. Thank you.